Hi, I'm Jeremy, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. Make me hear joy and gladness, that the bones you have broken may rejoice. Psalm 51, verse 8. I've never broken a bone. I'd like to keep it that way. From what I gather, the whole experience is unpleasant. Psalm 51, according to its superscription, was written by David when Nathan the prophet went to him after he had gone into Bathsheba. Now, if you know the story of David, you probably also know that his affair with Bathsheba was spiritually the lowest point of his recorded life. He had an affair with the wife of one of his most loyal soldiers. He attempted to cover it up, and when that didn't work, he arranged for the soldier's death, doing his best to make it look accidental. All this from the man after God's own heart. It took Nathan the prophet and a very carefully worded parable to break through David's spiritual blindness and force him to confront the horrific decisions he'd made. Psalm 51 is the result of that confrontation. It's the prayer of someone bearing their soul before God, recognizing their complete dependence on His undeserved mercy and forgiveness. What David has done is despicable, and his only hope for restoration rests with God. He talks about broken bones, his broken bones. It's a metaphor for the pain and suffering David has experienced as a result of his own sinful actions. God has quite rightly been the one to break, or more specifically, to crush those bones. Sin brings consequences. No one, not even God's chosen king, is immune to that. But there's hope. The hope is what makes this psalm so beautiful. Probably none of us have been where David was, but we've all found ourselves on the wrong side of God's law. We've all made decisions that have brought us beyond the boundaries of morality. We've all reaped the consequences of those choices. Make me hear joy and gladness, David begs. What brings joy and gladness? Forgiveness. Being made right with God. David knows that if God cleanses him, he will be whiter than snow. He'll be purified, clean in God's sight. And his life, which has become darker and more hopeless with each step away from God, will be filled with the joy and gladness he walked away from. And when that happens, the bones, David's crushed bones, our crushed bones, will have a reason to rejoice, to shout for joy. David's journey back to God is a reminder for us. Sin brings consequences. Sin brings pain. But God has the power and the compassion to pull us from that sin and make us clean again, if we're willing to return to Him. In verse 10 of Psalm 51, David says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." God can do that. He did that for David, and He'll do it for us, too. The ideal is not putting ourselves in a position where God needs to break our bones. But, failing that, the next best thing is putting ourselves in a position where God can heal them.
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.